Hi, my name is HWinkler, and I'm a kindergarten teacher at Christ the King Elementary School in Topeka, Kansas. And my unit is Forces in Motion that I'm going to be talking about today. And unfortunately, we are not doing the Forces in Motion unit right now with my kindergartners. I had just planned for later in the year for that, and we only have 2 days of school this week with the holidays coming, and so I'm just going to talk you through some of the highlights of my unit. My unit title is Forces in Motion. Of course, it's at the kindergarten grade level, and the topic area is physical science. The unit outcomes are that the student will be introduced to a real problem to solve. Then they're going to research ideas about how to solve the problem, devise a plan, how to solve the problem, experiment with their plan, and then share the knowledge they learned through their experiment. Then apply, evaluate, and expand the knowledge that they learned. The essential question is, how can Jill get the heavy bucket of water home to Jack? Some of the guided questions to get to that essential question would be, what are the forces? What are forces? What is motion? What are simple machines and how do they work? How do tools work, such as levers and ramps? And what are the effects of different strengths and different directions of pushes and pulls in the motion of an object? Some more guided questions could be, did the design solution work as intended to change the speed or direction of an object with a push or a pull? And what is gravity? So my lessons are designed with the attention span of a kindergartner in mind. So the lessons are broken down into small sessions and extended over a long period of time, and I would assume a month would cover it. The first day, of course, would be to prepare them, pre-assess what they know, do a quick discussion about forces in motion. What do you know about that? And then have them draw pictures and write simple sentences in their science journal about what they already know. Then the next day, I would love to make the bubble room that we learned about in our class, and then go inside and read the story rhyme. Jack and Jill went up the hill, that nursery rhyme. I would read that, I would act it out, I would sing the song. I think it would be neat to even get a flashlight and make silhouettes, little cutouts of Jack and Jill, and silhouettes on the ceiling of the bubble room. I think that would be neat. The kids would really enjoy that, participate in that with me. So we would really visit a lot about the nursery rhyme Jack and Jill, and then I could pose the question on the next day. In the lesson, I would pose the question, how would Jill get then that heavy bucket of water home to Jack? If he ran home bumped his head and ran home, how could Jill get that heavy bucket of water home to him? And then we could create a bulletin board with that essential question on that, and then the next day the kids could journal about some preliminary ideas they would have about how to solve that problem using just the knowledge that they already have. And then I would spend at least 5 days then after that. The next 5 lessons would be gathering information, and there's some really neat online games, videos, books that they could research, websites to visit, that they can learn more about forces in motion. And then I would have them collect all this new, chart the information that they know, collect the new vocabulary that they're learning, collect all of that new info in their science journal. Then I would work the next day in small groups to make a plan, using this new information, to revise that plan that they had before, but work in a small group to come up with one plan using this new information, how to solve that problem of getting the bucket of water home. When they make these plans, then they could share them with the rest of the group in that neat way that we learned in our class about. One group would be the creative way, just use objects around the room. The next group would share in a technological way, using iPads. The third group would share in an artistic way, using Play-Doh. Little figurines of Jack and Jill and how they would get down the hill with that bucket of water. And then one in a dramatic way, and just use the housekeeping props to act out how they would solve that problem. Then the next day would be the fun day. That would mean actually going out on our playground. And we actually have a hill on our playground, so I think that would work out really nicely. Get a little teddy bear and bandage his head up, and that would be Jack. And he could sit at the bottom of the hill, and then I would have a lot of parent support with that, working with these small groups. And I would gather the materials that they had explained in their plans, what they would need. They would have to tell me what materials they would need: ropes, blocks, ramps, things like that, and then help them push and pull and get the buckets of water down to Jack, the heavy bucket of water. And then the next day I would have them journal the results of trying out the plan that they made, and then add photos and drawings of them experimenting, and add that to the bulletin board. Then I would have them create a video to share go back to the whole group, and then videotape, share what their findings were. They could do it like a little news report, discuss how they solved their problem and what they learned, and so that the kids can analyze others' solutions by watching these little news reports. And then the next day they would evaluate their activities, work in small groups to decide which plan worked best out of the whole classroom, which plan worked best to solve this problem, and then create a digital story to actually tell Jill, this is what you need to do to get that bucket of water home. And then after that, then we would collect all the photos and pictures and data that we could and add it to that ongoing bulletin board project to sort of summarize, okay, this is the answer to that question. This is how you do it. This is how you get the bucket home. And then finally, take a field trip to the farm where you could see lots of machines being used in real life, and maybe even see a real well and how that works. And then to summarize the unit, I would have the kids organize their journal and submit that for grading on the unit. So for my rubric, for my assessments, part of it would be assessed on information that they've gathered, their plan that they made, of course. That would be a big part of what would be assessed. And then the data that they collected in their journal. And then assess the construction, the tools that they used, their plan, the materials that they used on their construction, the care taken on their construction. And then the last part would be their journal, turning that in, and the content and the appearance of their journal. Some of the resources that I used for this unit was, one of the websites I used was woodkinderclass.blogspot.com and Pinterest. And some of the simple machine interactive games are at www.edheads.org, and Forces in Motion games at learningscience.org, a gravity game at www.primarygames.com, and some videos are discoveryeducation.com, youtube.com has Donald Duck Putt-Putt Troubles, and then dragonflypbs.com has a neat video on matter and motion. There are a lot of science videos on that one, but matter and motion, which I think would be helpful for this unit. Some of the books that I found, a neat one that the kids could read at a kindergarten level, I Can Move by Robert Drakorian, and Tools and Gadgets by Bobby Kalman is a wonderful nonfiction book that I found. The Magic School Bus Plays Ball by Joanna Cole, and that one is actually, I have a VHS tape of that one. It's old, but So that would be a video as well as a book. And Oscar and the Cricket, a book about moving and rolling by Jeff Warning. And so I really look forward to doing this unit with my kindergartners. Unfortunately, we just can't do it at this time. And with the weather, I don't think we'd want to be outside doing that, but I really had fun making this unit, and I hope it will be helpful for anybody else that might want to do something like that. Thanks.